So who actually unalive PDP? Wike is the spoiler. That's what many people are saying. Atiku is also a spoiler. That's what people are saying. But history is staring us in the face. There's the spoiler who unalive the PDP, or spoilers, or different sets of spoilers, and then we have the final undertaker. But the question is, who finally unalive PDP? Who killed PDP? Is it Wike? Is it Atiku? Is it Obi? Is it Kwankwanso? Is it the leaders of the parties? Is it the elders? Is it the governors? Is it the executives? Or the ambition of uncontrolled ambition of people? Because in politics in Nigeria, what money cannot do does not exist, and that is the toga. That's the impression that Nigerian politicians carry. They believe that whatever money cannot buy, there's nothing money cannot buy. Everybody has a price. But life is cause and effect, and life has consequences. Where people worship money, they end up building monsters or a monster. They'll create a behemoth for themselves that they themselves cannot handle. And that's what I'm seeing in this case of this PDP. Life is not black and white. Life is black, white, and shades of gray in between. In this life, actions have consequences. That's what people need to realize. Where people worship money, they should expect the consequences of their action. Yorùbá sọ pé tógun bá jẹ lọ, ọgbọ́n máa jẹ bọ̀. And another proverb says, amukun ẹrù ẹwọ. It says, Oni òkèlè ń wo ẹ̀wù sàlẹ̀. That is, you have a K-leg man, a man with a K-leg, and he's carrying a load on his head, and the load is bending or tilting to one side. And people are saying, your load is bent, and he's saying to them, the K-leg man now says, you are looking at the top, you are looking at my head. Now they see as my leg be, my leg we don't bend before. So if the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Life is cause and effect. Whatsoever a man soweth, the same shall he reap. PDP, over the weekend, you see the Wike faction suspending the Damagun faction. Wike, Arapaja, Sam Anyawu, on one side, they claim to have suspended the current national chairman and his executives. And this is does the same week that a court ruled that the party cannot proceed with their national convention, where they are supposed to elect their executive officers later this month of November, just like stalling that party. Now the party is split into two, but the question is, who unalive PDP? Who unalive PDP? Yorùbá say àgbàlagbà tó bá ti ń jẹ dodo ẹnu ò ní gbà òdodo. Because all these politicians now, they are trying to find a scapegoat or blame it on somebody. But let us look at how they actually made that party to fall sick, and then they became the people that actually killed it completely. Blame Wike, blame Atiku, blame peterobi, blame Kwankwanso, blame all those governors that are sycophants, blame all those people that were feeding fat on the party, and those that were, how will I put it, fraternizing with Wike. Remember the last convention. This is their problem. This very current problem. They have had problems. All parties have their own problems. All parties have their internal problems, and they usually overcome it. Every party is a human formation. Everywhere you see human beings, there will always be give and take. There will always be highs and lows. There will always be issues that needs to be resolved, even in a family, even between husband and wife. So it's not a problem. There's nothing wrong in a party having issues, but how do they solve their issues? They have a constitution, and the last election, their constitution says that if somebody rules, if a part of the country rules for 8 years, the power shifts to the other side. Of course, the former president Buhari did not come from their party, but it seems as if it was the consensus of most, if not all, of the party members that the power was going to shift to the south. Throughout Buhari's period, throughout his tenure, Wike was the last man standing. He was funding PDP. He was inviting people to come and commission projects. He invited opposition even. He was sponsoring elections of House of Assembly, of senators, of governors in some states with all money. Remember, that's what Fayose actually did also. He was the last man standing always confronting Buhari during his tenure, and everybody was hailing him. That's how PDP built their own monster. This Wike that looks like is an impossible person for them today. A lot of them have eaten. They don't chop toy with the guy, to the point that, at the point when they are supposed to have expelled him from the party, a lot of them couldn't do anything because their neck is under his armpits. He knows, and Wike will spill the beans. He will talk. These politicians have a lot of hidden things that they don't want. They will feel embarrassed. They will get embarrassed if those things should be exposed. Now, people are even blaming Tinubu for PDP woes. How did Tinubu? I said Tinubu. How did Tinubu keep PDP? Yeah, I will come to his own aspects. But if somebody is staying on the sideline and benefiting, you see, they said there's a rule in war that if your enemy is making mistakes, don't interrupt him. And maybe the man helped them to just put some small petrol in their fire because he has Wike on his side. People are blaming Tinubu. Obviously, he may have some finger in the crisis, but because Wike is loyal to him. And Wike is also a serving minister in Tinubu's cabinet. But Tinubu is not a member of PDP. He's not a card-carrying member. Okay? You can't blame your neighbor for the rat in your own house. It's your house. You have the keys to the doors. If PDP itself had their house in order, there is no way an external person will come and penetrate, even though they try. But the case is that of a house that is divided against itself shall not stand. What PDP is reaping today is the outcome, the consequences of inordinate ambition and selfish interest of people like Wike, Atiku, Obi, and Tambuwal, and Kwankwaso. And Tinubu himself is a master of the game in politics. He helped them. Probably he did, because you can't even trace him directly, but because when Wike is Tinubu's man, PDP is reaping the consequences of their own political treachery, their selfish interest, their tribalism, and me and myself ambition of their leaders. Okay, where does Atiku come into the picture here as one of those people that unalived PDP? Because they didn't have this much problem before the last election. Atiku is a huge contributor. See, Wike's case is another one who is just on one side. Let's leave him on. I'll come to him. I will tell you, how does Atiku, or where does he come into the picture? How is he the biggest contributor? By the way, if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell so that you will get notified when I upload new videos, and also like this video, and please share it, because not everything is surface, not everything is pedestrian thinking, right? I was talking about Atiku. Atiku himself is the Baba Isiku. He's the real father of the barrier of the PDP. At a time that the party agreed to zone their presidential ticket to the south and the position of the chairman of the party to the north. You know what Atiku did? We are all aware, it's recent history. Atiku maneuvered his way and got the northern chairman, a northern chairman, to be installed. Okay, yeah, I think Wike also had a hand in that. They got a northern chairman installed. And despite that, they still went ahead. Atiku went ahead to contest, to pick the presidential ticket when the party was still, trying to really wrap their head around what was going on. He tricked the party and got Tambuwal to step down for him at the primaries last minute. People seem to forget history. By the time Tambuwal, there's no smoke without fire. All right, where Tambuwal withdrew, with his withdrawal at that primary, they beat Wike to his game, and Nigerians will say he shocked Wike, he shocked him. So that was part of the real thing that escalated their internal issues. Worse still, Atiku refused to pick Wike as his vice president, the same party. Instead, he opted for Okowa. People say that one also pained Wike, or pained Wike, and Wike gets song. As it they pain them, it they sweet us. As it they sweet us, it they pain. It they look. This was Wike that had benefited Tambuwal in the past. He had benefited Atiku and most of their party members. A lot of them have actually dined and chopped money or chopped some benefits from Wike one way or the other. So Wike felt left out in the cold, and he partnered with 5 other governors to help him to get a southern president to win the election. So they supported Tinubu. So the question now is this: how can one man be too strong for the party to handle? Simple answer: compromise. Why? Because Wike was the biggest financier of the party. Like I said earlier, he was the last man standing. For most of the second time in office, he was installing a lot of people in different states. And he was funding the party, funding a lot of activities in the party. So he grew in influence with his funds. You see, the role he played in the election for Obaseki and some other governors, even in other parts of the country. Now, Tambuwal stepped down for Atiku. Atiku could not work with Obi. Obi saw the handwriting on the wall and he left the party. Is that his fault? Well, Obi went to Labour. He took his votes with him. Atiku stayed with PDP. He had his votes in PDP. Kwankwaso went to NNPP. He had his votes there. And usually, of course, if Obi and Atiku had run on the same ticket, President Tinubu would probably not have won that election. The chances are very, very thin. They couldn't work together. Don't forget that in 2019, Obi and Atiku, they flew the same ticket. Atiku has his own, he has a right, he's a citizen. Okay, he has his own ambition that he couldn't relinquish. And what did that cause? He couldn't let Obi, a younger man who could have even been, and it's because of Obi's age that a lot of people are really following him. They feel that Atiku and Tinubu are too old. They could have won that election hands down. But Obi wanted to also be president. Obi left. Kwankwaso also wanted to be president. He also left. This is the same PDP party. Was it Wike that told Obi to leave? Was it Wike that told Atiku to pick the ticket in the manner he did? That was even like just a power game of deception to get Wike out of the way. Was he the one that told Tambua to this guy, Kwankwaso, to leave? Well, what is happening is not good for democracy. And it is very sad that a party that once boasted that they will spend 60 years in government, today they are in disarray. Now, to Wike's aspect, what people are saying, and what I also agree with, is that if Wike wants to be PDP, let him be PDP. If he wants to be APC, let him be APC. Yoruba says, Toba ma Joshaka ko Joshaka, Toba ma je Oshoko ko je Oshoko, Oshaka and Shoko ko ye omo eniyan. It's not the best, it's not good, it's not nice, and it shouldn't be an example for any other Nigerian to follow. But whatever the case is, power. We only see what happens on the surface, but this one is a very clear lesson that this is not the way to go for any party. Parties should be able to resolve their wranglings, and when they see members that are too big for the party, they should show them the way out and damn the consequences. So, who on a live PDP? Let me know your opinion in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.